Hello, friends. It is good to be with you again this week. It is the third week in January, and it has been quite a week. It started off on Sunday, for me at least. I was preaching Reverend Jean's sermon because her family was in quarantine, because the little children had been exposed to positive COVID cases. Then, moving on to Monday, was a national holiday and the day that we honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the great civil rights leader of our nation. And then yesterday was our inauguration day, the day that marks the transition from our former President Donald Trump to our new President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. We have prayed for a peaceful transition, and praise to God, it was. We are thankful for the peaceful transition, but also for the many National Guard who protected folks, made it be so in case violence did break out. So back to Sunday's sermon for a moment. The title of Reverend Jean's sermon was Leave It Behind, and the message was to focus on those things that happened in 2020 that we just need to let go and to move on from. And then, as we move on, to focus on those things we need to take with us into the new year. I hope you were able to be with us that day, but if you weren't, feel free, and I invite you to go to our Facebook page or our website, fumcbellavista.com, and view it there. No doubt, 2020 has been filled with many things that we would like to leave behind. The pandemic, economic hardship, isolation, judgment, divisiveness, hate, anger, fear, and the list goes on. But as we enter into 2021, we are beginning to see glimpses of hope. We've already seen the vaccine begin to cut through the fear of the pandemic. Hospital and other essential workers have received their first dose, and we're now moving on to those folks who are older than 70 and those folks who are teachers, and they are able now to get their first dose. Some of you who are sitting out there right now have already received your first dose, and that is so exciting to me. Every time I hear someone has received it, I just want to sing a song or jump for joy. It just gives me hope, makes me joyful. There is a website that I follow that measures cases within a county and positive test rate statistics, and they post that on a daily basis. And we've already begun to see those statistics get better recently. With the statistics getting better, our schools will be able to go back to normal. Many parents will be happy that children do not have to be in homeschooling all the time. They can go back and be with their friends and their classmates. Schools are opening up. Our businesses will soon be able to open up as well, and business will get back to normal. We're beginning to leave behind the fear that has gripped us in 2020. And then look at the divisiveness as well, the hate and the anger between people. We saw that beginning to subside in the hope of new leaders within our country. President Biden delivered his inaugural speech on the theme of America United. What does it mean to be united? Well, in the Bible, Jesus talked about how God sees God's people united. Someone asked him, Lord, what is the greatest commandment in the law? And we read in the 22nd chapter of the Gospel of Matthew that his reply was, you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And the second is like unto it. You should love your neighbor as yourself. And then he said, what to me is the most enlightening few words that I had heard for a long time when I first heard it after coming back to the church. He said, all the laws and the prophets hang on this. Hang on loving the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and loving others as yourself. To be an American united, we have to love Jesus. And then we must follow him in the ways of love and respect for our brothers and sisters. That's what it's all about, to be united, is to share the love that Jesus came to bring. You may know that Dr. Martin Luther King was a Baptist preacher. There are many beautiful words of wisdom that he delivered during his ministry in the 1950s and 60s. I invite you to Google his quotes and be inspired by his words. Listen to his words as he said, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. And he shared darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And another, I have decided to stick with love. Hate is just too great a burden to bear. Words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. about love. Love that has inspired him because of knowing Jesus. We must leave behind the old ways of hatred and divisiveness and take with us into 2021 the ways of love, the ways of sharing, of listening, of understanding others. For each of us needs to be heard. Each of us needs to be loved. Do not grow weary of loving your neighbor, for that is exactly how we bring God's kingdom to this earth, and we each have a role to play in this. Please pray with me. Holy Jesus, you taught us to love our neighbors. You taught us to help each other, to take care of each other, to treat each other as brothers and sisters. Even though we as humanity may be different in many ways, we are alike in so many more ways. Help us in the days ahead to leave behind the old ways of fear, the old ways of divisiveness, and to take with us into 2021 your ways of love and respect and relationships together. It is in your precious name that we pray. Amen. Bye, friends. We'll see you next time.